Hello, everyone. It is I, the Fable of Fables, your new best friend. I hope you guys are doing well. It's still spooky month. It's 3 months away from my birthday. If you guys want to help support me, I have set up a small dono roll. If you guys want to support me, feel free to do so. I could use all the help I can get, please and thank you. If not, that's completely fine. I understand. I'm not that important. No, I'm kidding. The last part, but yeah, seriously, if you guys can help, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. Anyway, today we're reacting to something kind of dear to my heart, cryptids and Fallout. Fallout cryptids. I like the fact that in Fallout 76 they decided to add like a buttload of stuff. So yeah, let's check it out.
The world of Fallout is full to the gills with strangeness.
Oh yeah.
Mutated creatures, malfunctioning robots, crazy cults, and chemmed out nutjobs, just to name a few. But beyond the more well-known monsters and mutants that roam the ruins of the old world and lurk outside the lights of new civilization, are other, more shadowy threats. Creatures that don't have a simple explanation. Talked about in hushed whispers over a glass of moonshine or a bottle of Nuka-Cola, their origins are a mystery, and their often terrifying abilities are the subject of fear and superstition. These beasts are not to be trifled with. Dwelling in the deepest, darkest corners of Fallout's world are another breed of monster entirely, cryptids. For the purpose of this list, to be considered a cryptid, a monster must be rare, dangerous, and have an air of mystery about it. These are the entities that live in the shadows beyond your Pip-Boy's light. These are the cryptids of Fallout. At first, this may seem inaccurate. Deathclaws are practically the poster children of Fallout, standing right beside a Brotherhood Knight or a hulking, brutish super mutant. But when one
You're considering a Deathclaw a cryptid? I mean, I wouldn't, but okay, I guess.
considers their position in the wasteland in Fallout 1, the story becomes something else entirely. In the year 2161, the wasteland is just beginning to pull itself back from the brink of oblivion. Resources are scarce, violence and raiders are everywhere, and the blasted, sandy desert stretches off as far as the eye can see, buried under a dead, gray sky. Then you begin to hear the stories, horrible beasts attacking what little livestock farmers can raise, isolated farmsteads found completely abandoned, with nothing left but a shattered door and smears of old blood. Something new stalks California, and the terrified people can only agree on one thing, one unifying feature, their claws. Some think they're ghosts of the old world, angry spirits return to lay waste to the new. Some think they're demons that have somehow clawed their way back up from hell itself to feast on the huddled masses. Some even declare that they're nothing but a tall tale, and secretly pray that they're right. But Deathclaws are very real indeed, standing over 8 feet tall. Its body is hunched and stooped, a long, powerful tail balancing its huge upper body. Long, muscular arms almost scrape the ground as it lumbers forward, tipped with the claws that give the beast its name. Multiple feet long, Deathclaws keep these sword-like claws razor sharp and are capable of shredding through flesh, combat armor, and even power armor with horrible ease. Held low between its shoulders is the creature's head. Though tipped with curling black horns and a grisly maw filled with jagged teeth, there is a disturbing, almost human-like look to the Deathclaw's face, further reinforcing the tales that insist on its demonic nature. Attempting to tangle with this cryptid in close quarters is suicide, and even firearms can prove to be ineffective. Its tough, leathery hide can be pierced by only the highest caliber bullets or powerful energy weapons. If one somehow manages to track the beast down to its lair and slay it, they can see a taste of what's to come for the rest of the wasteland. A huge clutch of eggs ready for hatching and multiplying, the Deathclaw plague primed to spread across what remains of the United States. And spread they did, as in each later entry, Deathclaws lost more and more of their mystique. By Fallout 2, their origins have been revealed as a genetic experiment by the pre-war US military, and one enterprising bed and breakfast owner had even captured one, using its eggs for omelets. By the time Fallout 3 rolls around in 2271, Deathclaws had become a relatively rare and feared, but well understood animal. Though they lost their cryptid status as the series went on, they undeniably earned the name in their first appearance, as their nightmarish form and the dread they inspired in the wasteland's inhabitants left a long shadow in their wake. The cryptids known as Wanamingos are amongst the strangest looking in the series, and have a mysterious origin that leaves much of their nature unknown to this day.
Okay, this one I can kind of understand, mostly because the Wanna potatoes. Okay, this one I can kind of understand. The Wanna potatoes are very funny. I know it's not the name, but these ones are very alien, and they've only ever been seen in Fallout 2. It'd be kind of cool if we ever got, like, they've only ever been seen in Fallout 2 because the Chosen One, I believe it's called, destroyed the Queen and made sure that they can't spawn anymore. However, if Bethesda would literally get off their stupid asses, they could probably do a lot with it, but then again, that's asking too much as it is. So yeah, see what happens, I suppose, but yee. This one I can kind of understand how it's a cryptid.
Is known about them is their supposed source, the Great Wanamingo gold mine in the town of Redding, from which they gained their name. Originally, the mine was prosperous and productive, acting as the primary gold supplier for the whole NCR and the rest of California, but things eventually took a turn for the worst. Deep in the depths of the mine, strange sounds could be heard. Strange, wet, and gurgling cries mixed with the screams of the miners too slow to escape the creatures rising from below. Those who managed to escape sealed the entrance to the mine with dynamite, entombing those still left behind. The survivors and the rest of the townfolk of Redding were effectively exiled from their own mine for years due to their presence. Some in town claim that the Wanamingos are aliens, buried deep in the earth many years ago and only now coming to the surface.
It's possible given their weird alien-like design. Look at that. Look at that damn thing.
Others thought they could be escaped genetic experiments or mutants.
Possible.
Still more held to the belief that the mine squatters were a supernatural punishment summoned by the tribes of the old world to bring vengeance on the descendants of those who destroyed it. This still unsolved mystery is a major driver for their cryptid status, along with their undeniably unique appearance. Wanamingos are extremely odd-looking, appearing to be a single enormous mouth lined with thin, needle-like teeth and a shiny, bald head mounted atop a pair of legs. They possess no visible eyes, but seem to be able to navigate perfectly well, even in complete darkness. Their most curious features, however, are their twin tentacles, lined with suckers and constantly waving in an invisible breeze, searching for prey. If they do land these tentacles on a victim, they're quickly pulled into their mouths and devoured. Keeping your distance with firearms to keep your limbs intact is wise. But the Wanamingo's speed and thick, rubbery skin granted an almost unnatural resistance. There is hope, however, as the mine-dwelling, dark-loving creatures hate fire and can be driven off or dispatched through the use of flamethrowers and similar methods. By killing the Wanamingo queen in the depths of the mine, their invasion of the mine can be put to rest. But they have already seemingly spread across the wasteland, with roving packs of them still stalking prey in the dark corners of the world. Though they only appear in Fallout 2, that doesn't mean they're gone for good. Whenever one goes deep underground, it's hard to shake the feeling that somehow, just beyond the reach of their light, there's something lurking.
Again, I would like to see more of them in different games, but it's kind of I don't think Bethesda has the balls for it, but that's just me.
And the Wanamingos are hungry. The Slags are a mysterious collection of individuals that reside outside the farming town of Modoc. Their legend began when the citizens of Modoc noticed the small farm that suddenly appeared a few hours' walk from the town. It seemed normal enough, aside from the fact that not a single soul was ever seen tending to it. Eventually, after trying and failing to find its owners, a man named Carl moved in and claimed the farm for himself. He soon learned that that was a horrible mistake, as after dark had fallen, he noticed a ghostly glow in the fields. There were figures moving amongst the corn and through the Brahmin pastures, ones that glowed with an unearthly light. Though they didn't attack the farm, they scared Carl nearly to death, and at daybreak, the terrified farmer returned to Modoc, breathlessly insisting that the farm was haunted by some sort of spirit. They only laughed him off, dismissing him as crazy. This went on for a few days, until Carl didn't come back. When the townsfolk went out to look for him, they encountered a grisly sight. A forest of impaled bodies surrounded the farm, dozens of rotting corpses mounted on poles or left to bake in the sun. Needless to say, the people of Modoc avoided the place like the plague from then on. By the time the Chosen One encounters the ghost farm, it's a place of legend, an area haunted by vengeful spirits capable of slaughtering armed men. When they decided to approach anyway, they saw the bodies, but looked a little closer than the superstitious townspeople. The bodies were fake, nothing more than dummies smeared with Brahmin blood and guts, carefully arranged to appear real. By sleeping in the farmhouse that night, the Chosen One found themselves face to face with the ghost farm's glowing spirits, who finally encountered someone brave enough to approach them and even strike up a conversation. It turns out that these weren't ghosts at all, but a peculiar kind of mutant, one known as Slags. With wide, sensitive eyes and deathly pale skin, they explain their tale to the Chosen One. Descended from a group of survivalists that rode out the Great War in their personal bunker, the Slags had mutated and multiplied, adapting to their underground lifestyle and giving them their signature, otherworldly appearance. Eventually, however, their supplies began to dwindle, and they created a farm on the surface, tending to it only at night to avoid the painful glare of the sun, which they'd never even seen before. When Carl moved in, they attempted to chase him away by smearing their already strange forms with glowing mushroom paste, appearing as a legion of vengeful phantoms. When that didn't work, they attempted the dummy approach, which led to the terrified farmer fleeing all the way to the den. Unlike every other entry on this list, the Slags purposefully made themselves cryptids in the eyes of the Wasteland's people. Once discovered, however, they believe it was finally time to reach out to Modoc, and with the Chosen One's help, they finally revealed themselves and cast off their monstrous legend. Unlike the slags of Fallout 2,
yeah, the slags are literally just folks who had heavy mutations due to the survivalists and stuff. Okay, is this literally gonna... Are you really counting ghost people as cryptids? I mean, I guess they kind of count as cryptids. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this video, guys. Let me know if I'm overthinking. I'm probably overthinking. Anyway.
there is no deception about these ghost people. There is no miscommunication. There is no mistaken identity. And there is no confusing the creatures that stalk the foggy streets of the Sierra Madre with anything human. High in the mountains of the Sierra Madre lies a resort and casino bearing the same name. A symbol of pre-war wealth and luxury, its legend spread across the Mojave wasteland. An untouched gold mine of fabulous riches and technology, frozen in time and ripe for plundering. Those who finally made the trek up into the dark red cloud that masked its location would find nothing resembling the virtual city of gold and plenty, and instead, a decaying wreck of a community blanketed in toxic fog. Even worse, the Sierra Madre is not as untouched as it first seems. As deep within the choking red cloud, shapes move, glowing green eyes glare from the mist, and shambling footsteps echo along the empty streets. This place is the home of the ghost people. If one manages to glimpse them, they may at first seem to resemble humans. Each one is dressed head to toe in a ratty brown hazmat suit, complete with rebreather and glowing green eye holes. They even carry tools and weapons, as rusted by the clouds as they may be. But something isn't right. Their movement is unnatural, stiff and jerking, shambling more than walking, though they can move with surprising, lurching speed when necessary. They also move with a deathly silence, never speaking or crying out, even if bullet after bullet is dumped into their chests or heads, the only sound being the wheeze of their rebreathers. They do not flinch and they do not stop. The only sign of their injuries is a puff of green gas and a foul-smelling, yellowish liquid that leaks from the holes in their suit. If one manages to overwhelm this superhuman toughness with sheer volume of fire, they may finally stagger back and collapse. Those who believe themselves safe when this happens would be sorely mistaken, for it's then that the ghost people can demonstrate their most gruesome skill. After seemingly succumbing to their wounds, they will begin to thrash and claw at their suits, and with the howling sound of rushing air will stagger back to their feet. The only way to ensure that these seemingly unstoppable monsters stay dead is to reduce them to ash with energy weapons or tear them limb from limb. If the latter option is chosen, their flesh underneath the suit is revealed. Its color is an unnatural pale yellow, slick with milky fluid. Most disturbingly, it appears to be fused to the inside of their suits, literally making whatever is inside one with their protective gear. As if that isn't bad enough, the ghost people are smart enough to set traps and plan ambushes. If one spots a tempting stash of unguarded supplies laying out in the open, they should think twice before approaching. Bear traps, landmines, and other booby traps are often mixed in with these stockpiles in order to kill or injure anyone foolish enough to approach. If their victim manages to survive these traps, the ghost people will then descend, attacking from every angle with incredible ferocity. It isn't known what exactly the ghost people have become, but what is known is who they used to be. Before the war, the owner of the Sierra Madre, Frederick Sinclair, made a deal with the Research Institute at Big Mountain for them to test some of their experimental materials in the casino resort's construction. One of these materials was the toxic red gas that was being tested on the resort's workers, which required them to wear heavy hazmat suits in order to continue construction. Eventually, the cloud caused these suits to begin rusting and corroding, exposing them to a limited dose of the cloud's toxins. When the bombs dropped, the workers relied on their suits to protect them from the radiation, but the cloud began to seep in anyway. Over the centuries, the cloud changed these workers, warping and twisting them into something inhuman, turning them into the ghost people that still stalk the gloomy streets of the Sierra Madre. Many hear the legend of the red-blanketed town deep in the mountains. Many more hear of its great riches, but none ever return from its swirling depths. They have the ghost people to thank for that. The third and final ghost on the list, the ghost of She, is part physical and part spiritual. Haunting the depths of Zion National Park, the ghost is legendary Yao Guai, a mutated bear common in the wilder and more remote corners of the wasteland. But what makes this particular bear special isn't some strange mutation that gives it an extra head, or a dip in an FEV tank that doubled its size. No, nothing so straightforward. The ghost of She holds a great significance to a tribe in Zion known as the Sorrows. According to legend, there was once a girl born to the tribe, a clever and curious young child who explored the many caves and canyons that filled the park. One dark day, she wandered into a cave that hid the sleeping form of a Yao Guai and was killed by the beast. The Sorrows sent many hunting parties after the bear, but all failed to find it or never returned at all. It seemed almost as if by eating the child, part of her had become one with the monster, and it had become more than a simple animal. The Sorrow's shaman says that the nameless child's spirit indeed carries on in this monstrous form, half human, half bear, sorrowful, vengeful, and deadly. By the time the courier encounters their tribe, the Sorrows had lived under the shadow of the ghost for years, and after assisting them throughout Zion, they presented the hero of Vegas with an opportunity. By drinking a tea steeped in the sacred datura root, they would be able to finally find the ghost of She, and, being a mighty warrior, put its spirit to rest for good. And so, under the mind-altering effects of the tea, the courier approached the lair of the ghost. The creature was huge, easily standing almost twice the height of a regular yaguai. Its skin seems rotten and diseased, the discolored and patchy hide seeming to stretch to the point of bursting over its bulging muscles. Despite its size, it possesses an unnatural speed, bounding down from the mountainside with no regard for its own safety, its milky white eyes casting a dead stare at its latest victim. All of this could be explained away by it being an unnaturally large mutant bear, but the roaring flames that enveloped it certainly could not. The inferno rages about the beast as if its very soul is on fire, and if terribly wounded, attacks with a desperate ferocity and blinding speed so intense that it seems to be in 3 places at once. Yet, despite all its horror and the legend surrounding it, it was finally laid low by the courier, who gave the ghost of She peace. Was it really the spirit of a slaughtered girl and the bear that killed her become one? Or was it simply a large and vicious bear, made monstrous by the effects of the ritual tea so heavily drunk by its hunter? No one knows for certain, but that's what makes any cryptid truly come alive.
It's an interesting concept, that's for sure.
And the ghost of She brings this uncertainty and legend to the forefront, weaving a legend that seals its status as one of Fallout's most interesting cryptids. Fallout 76 is in a special place when it comes to the subject of cryptids. Its setting,
so many,
is situated in the ruins of the pre-war state of West Virginia, a place famous for its many unexplained monster sightings. This entry perfectly reflects the tradition of cryptid spotting, with by far the greatest number of cryptid-like creatures in its roster. While the previous examples were all featured first in Fallout, all of these beasts were taken from real-life accounts and legends, lending their presence here some eerie legitimacy. The Blue Devil is a monstrous, dog-like beast that stalks the hills and valleys of Appalachia, using the cover of its dense forests and crags to conceal itself and stalk its prey. It appears to be almost a one-to-one retelling of the classic werewolf legend, seeming to be an animal-like humanoid, known for slaughtering livestock and dragging unwary wastelanders off in the night. Even worse than the attacks might be the silence that precedes them, with the Middle Mountain pit stop being a prime haunt. Every night, the residents manning the trading post cower in their barricaded.
I didn't know about this one. This one's kind of cool. I like this one.
Homes, terrified of the looming dark just outside. They feel as though they're constantly being watched, and the blood-chilling howls that pierce the night only serve to make the lulls between them even deeper. This supernatural fear appears to be a core aspect of the Blue Devil, as when it does finally strike, it can cause even seasoned vault dwellers and other adventurers to flee in mind-shattering panic. These helpless victims are easily run down by the devil, who can move much faster than even the most horrified humans. If one encounters the Blue Devil out in the wilds of the Appalachian Mountains, they'd best pack a big gun and be stout of heart, because to turn your back on this beast is to invite certain death. Going from the bestial to the otherworldly, the Flatwoods monster appears to be an alien in nature, though like all cryptids, its origin and true nature are shrouded in mystery. Only ever appearing at night, it cuts a strange figure as it passes through the underbrush of the Appalachian forests, a distinctive purple glow accompanying it, which may be the only sign of this elusive figure. Those who get closer can see that this creature is certainly inhuman, lacking any sort of legs, with a large, swollen head contained in a glass helmet. Thin, shiny arms are held at its side, possessing only 3 fingers. It hovers with the aid of 2 purple jets, their light mixing with the purple glow that pours from its wide, staring eyes. Though not aggressive, the Flatwoods monster will fight to protect itself, with wasteland storytellers warning that the monster can warp the minds of all it comes across, with only the most iron-willed able to resist its power. If attacked, it will begin to teleport rapidly, with flashes of purple light filling the forest. Any nearby animals, robots, or even turrets will spring to the cryptid's defense, throwing themselves headlong at the attacker, controlled directly by the monster. Even if a wily wastelander is able to land a hit on it, the alien seemingly possesses powerful regenerative abilities, able to heal from the brink of death multiple times. It's unknown exactly what these extraterrestrial critters are doing on Earth following the Great War, but if sightings are to be believed, they've been here since the 1950s and aren't going to be finished anytime soon. So if you're wandering through the forests of Appalachia and start to see a purple light filtering through the trees, turn tail and run the other way, unless you'd like to become just another unwary wastelander who disappeared without a trace. An iconic cryptid of West Virginia folklore, the Grafton Monster is described as a hulking monstrosity with huge arms, stubby legs, and no head. Its skin weeps a
Okay, I did not know this was a thing. Comment if you're watching this, and I hope you are. What? You didn't tell me there was I didn't tell me this was a monster in the game. This is cool looking. Why? What? How come no one told me about this dude? He was cool.
Black tar-like liquid and is crisscrossed with scar tissue and other marks that indicate that the Grafton Monster is no stranger to battle. Although it's seemingly blind, it can sense others through some other method, perhaps hearing or smell, and will charge them without hesitation, using its tree trunk-sized limbs to pummel them into the earth. Anything out of its reach will soon find itself doused in the acidic tar that leaks from its body, which is able to spray with surprising force, leading to a quick and painful incapacitation. The story behind this particular cryptid is not as mysterious as the others, and goes a long way in explaining its aggressive behavior. Originally created by using the forced evolutionary virus by Westtech, the first Grafton monsters were created before the war. Unlike other subjects, the unfortunate people who underwent the infection by this particular strain didn't die, but rather mutated into their current, unrecognizable forms, their minds decaying to that of an animal. The initial test subject was being transported when the bombs dropped and escaped into the West Virginia wilderness during the following chaos. From there, the creatures slowly multiplied and spread, remaining a rarely seen yet undeniably frightening and powerful beast. With their origins, the Grafton monsters are made less mysterious, but much more tragic, becoming even more twisted and monstrous than the FEV's other famous creations, the super mutants.
Yeah,
To be
no
warped
kidding.
and changed into something so unrecognizable, to be human one moment and a disgusting, feared cryptid the next, one can hardly blame them for fighting back against the world that created them. The Jersey Devil in the Fallout timeline owes its name to the legend of a cursed and abandoned baby, birthed to an unloving mother and forced into the abandoned pine barrens that surround Atlantic City. This boy was so horribly mutated that it appeared completely inhuman and is said to be the source of the devils that plague the outskirts of the city to this very day. The truth of this tale seems doubtful, as none of the lesser devils that supposedly spawned from this abandoned child show anything more than a certain animalistic intelligence. Nevertheless, the monster known as the Jersey Devil is very real indeed, as are its children. The lesser devils are by far the more common sign of their hidden source, and even by themselves are intimidating foes.
Interesting.
Mottled gray and hunched over, they have an almost deathclaw-like build, though much thinner, smaller, and more agile. Their skull-like faces and piercing yellow eyes easily cut through the gloom that blankets the coastal city, and their long, flat, and flexible tails allow them to navigate its flooded waterways with ease. The Jersey Devil itself is another beast entirely, blood red with a scaly, bubbly skin that's incredibly resistant to damage. The head and neck of the devil is surrounded by a leathery frill that covers its shoulders and arms, giving it the appearance of a winged, demonic figure when taken alongside its coloration and curling black horns. A deadly creature to be sure, but it is made more mysterious by what surrounds it. Its home, the Pine Barrens, is an isolated stretch of unknown wilderness, almost impenetrable to outsiders and cloaked in darkness. Its origins hint at a supernatural upbringing of curses and abandonment, and its blood and those of its offspring act as a potent, addictive drug. The devil's blood is an almost magical concoction, rare and expensive, that drives the mystery of the Jersey Devil to new heights. Why does its blood have this effect on humans? Why is it so addictive? And could this dark secret harbor more ominous hints to the creature's origin?
It's because people are weird. And in certain fantasy stories, dragon blood is considered very potent. Fucking hell in Dark Souls 2, there's literally the Drake Blood Knights who believe that by drinking the blood of the dragons they can get stronger. So it made sense that the humans in this world decided to do something stupid too.
Origins? No one knows for certain, but it's still out there in the Pine Barrens beyond the light, watching and waiting as the city drowns in its blood. One of the most well-known of West Virginia and Appalachia's cryptids, Mothman was said to exist even in the days before the war, as a herald of coming disaster or other bad luck. A huge, man-shaped moth with no head and two large eyes in its chest, the Mothman could be half seen perched atop trees or bridges, silently watching those passing beneath him before flying off into the night. Cryptid hunters before the war were obsessed with him, organizing hunts, expeditions, and other searches in an attempt to find or even contact the secretive creature. Eventually, this group began to take a strange turn, slowly transforming into less of a club and more of a cult, trying ever more outlandish and strange methods to communicate with their new god. When the bombs dropped and the world descended into chaos, the cultists fled into the Lucky Hole mine to ride out the worst of the blasts and the resulting fallout. Since that time, the cult has split into two, with those calling themselves the Enlightened, seeking knowledge from the Mothman, and the quote-unquote followers of the Winged One, who instead practice worship and bloody sacrifice in the name of their god. This latter group can be found all around Appalachia and regularly perform sacrifices in an attempt to gain favor from the Mothman in their midst. The creatures that they worship do indeed seem to resemble the real article, enormous mutated moths the height of an average man with an unsettling habit of stalking humans at night, lighting them with the glow of their unblinking red eyes. The cultists don't believe that these moths are their god, but rather his messengers, Mothman's heralds, his eyes and ears. They are sacred, and the followers will defend their nesting sites to the death.
I mean,
Enlightened ones, on the other hand, have a very different set of beliefs. Instead of communicating with the Mothman through sacrifice, they instead seek to communicate with a unique, purple-eyed variant of the giant moths that haunt the Appalachian night. Reportedly ancient and wise, this creature can apparently impart knowledge on the cult's members through some sort of nonverbal, supernatural communication. This mystical being certainly seems closer to the original Mothman than its unsettling, yet clearly animal-like, red-eyed companions. So was there actually a Mothman swirling through the nights of pre-war West Virginia, or is it all a fairy tale made up to explain the unexplainable powers of the wise Mothman and the beast's strange influence over so many people? No one knows for sure, and likely never will. The Ogwa is a massive snapping turtle. This unassuming description may not impress those who aren't familiar with the real-life animal, but everything that makes the snapping turtle of today dangerous is magnified 100-fold with the Ogwa. Its shell is thick and spiked, the bony plates capable of deflecting blades, super sledges, gunfire, and even heavy artillery. The beak is hooked and razor sharp, its bite more than capable of splitting hardened steel with the same ease one might bite through the skin of an apple. It's a slow but mighty beast, and carries special significance to the followers of the Winged One.
I feel like that's actually kind of cool looking. I like the design. That's an interesting one.
Splitting hardened steel with the sealed mystical power, and there's wisdom sacrifices one that is truly worthy of their god's. They believe that it's a truly ancient creature, still around since before the war, and that its sacrifice is one that is truly worthy of their god's attention. According to the cult, its blood holds mystical.
To be honest, given the fact that turtles tend to live a long time, specifically tortoises, yeah, I can see it.
Power, and there's wisdom to be found deep in its entrails. So they hunt the beast, pursuing it across Appalachia in an attempt to catch and kill it in Mothman's name. They have been unsuccessful. While your average snapping turtle may eat insects, frogs, and fish, the Ogwa is comfortable tackling much bigger game, humans included. As long as you don't seek it out, the Ogwa is one of the less dangerous cryptids on this list. But should you come across its path, whatever you do, don't get close.
In the sense
what may at first seem to be a large boulder couldn't.
That it's bipedal. That's what I mean. That it's actually kind of standing on its hind legs. I think that means it's bipedal.
In fact, to be a very large and very angry reptile. Another example of a pre-war cryptid coming back to haunt the post-apocalypse, the sheep squatch is unmistakably a real monster, even before the fallout blanketed the land. Evidence of its existence can be found through the remaining holotapes of Ray Gary, a pre-war cryptid hunter who was left permanently crippled after an encounter with the creature, ending his long-standing obsession with proving its existence. It turns out that getting your back broken may be one of the best outcomes to expect after encountering a sheep squatch, as they are as deadly to fight as they are awful to behold.
Did he get baned by a sheep
with a patchy mane of ragged fur, the black, curling horns of the sheep squatch jut from its skinless, grinning skull like deadly corkscrews. Along its back and arms, porcupine-like quills jut, which can be shaken loose in a cloud of stinging death at will. Those in direct line of sight of the beast are in the greatest.
Sorry, I believe he got his back broken by the creature literally ramming itself into him. But I just think it's funny that he got his back broken by this creature. Like it baned him.
This danger, however, as it can use its powerful cloven hooves to launch itself at potential meals, shattering bone and sending humans reeling with the strike of its horns. It attacks in a frenzy, stunning, smashing, and slashing until nothing's left but a bloody pulp. Though most likely mutated and enhanced by the fallout left behind by the Great War, the sheep squatch's origins as a pre-war cryptid is chilling, as it suggests that there could be all manner of yet undiscovered creatures lurking side by side with humans throughout our history. It looks like this time, it's not only the mutants that go bump in the night, but also a genuine pre-war monster. The final cryptid found in Appalachia may be the most chilling of all, as its legend stretches far, far back from before the war, originating from the first people of the North American continent. There's a legend in the oral traditions of Algonquin-speaking Native American groups that speak of a ravenous creature born from the depths of winter and a terrible hunger.
Right.
But this is no ordinary craving, as it can be satisfied by only one thing: human flesh. Its exact description varies, but it's generally agreed to be quite tall, thin, and mobile, able to chase down or ambush its prey with relentless energy. What's most disturbing about the Wendigo, however, is its origin in these legends. They aren't some creature driven mad by hunger, or an unknown animal that's developed a taste for flesh. No, they were once humans who, through desperation, turned to cannibalizing their fellow man. So damning is this act that once one partakes and begins to consume the flesh of their fallen comrades, they are unable to stop, seeking to satisfy their newfound endless hunger by any means. What was just legend and hearsay in the past has, following the radioactive mutations brought on by the war, become a terrifying reality. If one wanders into the Appalachian woods and catches a sudden, overpowering stench of rotten flesh, it's likely already too late.
Also, here's the thing, this creature has a lot of meaning to specific tribes, as well as another creature that should not be named, given the fact that the legend states if you say its name out loud in certain areas, the creature will begin to notice you. So please be respectful to the tribes that actually tell you not to talk about these things in their presence, please and thank you. I know this is a video game and this one's Spectrum 1, but in their actual culture, these creatures are cursed monsters that shall not be named or spoken of in their presence, if not possible. Anyway, you just want to specify that.
Wendigo has their scent. A ragged bundle of skin and bones, they may not look too intimidating, crouched over their latest meal, but once finished, they stretch and unwind to their full height, their long, bent legs and thin, clawed arms revealed only by moonlight. Their skull-like faces have no eyes, only dark, wet pits that stare sightlessly into the night. As they catch the scent of their next victim, their mouth chews expectantly, almost automatically, crooked, broken teeth gnashing, having long since torn off and eaten their own lips in a fit of hunger. Unnaturally strong despite their frail-looking bodies, the Wendigos of Appalachia are more than capable of overpowering an average human, their frenzied need for meat pushing them past any fear of pain or death. It's unknown what exactly causes humans to become Wendigos, but one thing is for certain: it always requires cannibalism. Some suspect that they might be some sort of rare ghoul, as they can often be found alongside groups of ferals, and their screams can attract more of them to the area. But that doesn't explain their unique cravings. There are even reports of Wendigos mutating further, becoming almost unrecognizable, a tangle of grasping limbs and screaming heads, but retaining their ceaseless hunger. So for any wasteland wanderers set to brave the gloomy woods of Appalachia's hills, stay wary. Keep a watchful eye on the dark spaces between the boughs, the endless night wrapped around the treetops, and heed any whiff of rotten meat you may smell. Your life may just depend on it. Honorable mentions: the Snallygasters of Fallout 76 and the Tunnelers of the New Vegas add-on Lonesome Road are both frightening beasts to be sure, but one thing kept them from being true cryptids: their numbers. Both the fleshy, disgusting Snallygasters and the secretive Tunnelers travel in packs and are widely acknowledged as threats in their respective areas. Though dangerous, they don't carry much mystery about them, and the Snallygasters are even confirmed to be FEV mutations, further lowering their potential place on this list. Though interesting monsters in their own right, and perhaps deserving of their own videos in the future, they couldn't make the cut as cryptids. For a wasteland full of terrors, both man-made and inhuman, there's something special about the Fallout series' cryptids. When faced with the monsters you know, ghouls, rad scorpions, raiders, homicidal robots, you know what to expect and you can prepare for the worst. But when the threat is just a legend, when the hungry dark just outside of camp comes calling, when the wide open wasteland...
Question: isn't a Snallygaster, however you pronounce it, isn't that just a Stephen King monster? That sounds like a Stephen King monster.
shrinks away and it's just you, alone against a faceless horror, that is when the wasteland of Fallout becomes something else. That's when the cryptids come out to play.
Alright, well, guys, if you like this kind of content, do like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to react to any more Fallout stuff. I'd be more than happy to react to more Fallout lore, Fallout creatures, Fallout anything, really. Fallout has a special place in my heart. I love Fallout 3, even though I know a lot of people say it didn't live up to, it hasn't really lived up because of things. All I can say is eat shit. Alright, love you, bye! Bye!